Greetings, people of the internet. My name is Big Mo, and it is my honor to welcome you to the hardest hitting, full of ranting, most entertaining show in the world. This is the Dave Van Auken Show!
Guys, how's everyone doing? Recording this Friday afternoon on the East Coast. I've been sick all week. All week. It's been a bad week here at the Van Auken house, especially for me. I'm feeling better. I'm getting my momentum, getting my mojo back. I can hear me not 100%, but feeling good. So I want to get on here and record, guys. We had a great live show on Tuesday. If you haven't watched it, go back and see it. Elle Dawson killed it, took it over. She had a great thing with Dakota Ditcheva, Chris Duncan, Terrence McKinney, and Jasmine Josephicius. So Elle killed it. Hats off to her. And we keep on going. We're right into UFC Vegas 102. We got Cannonier versus RoboCop. We got Calvin Kattar and Yusuf Zial. By the time if you watch it, I think I'm going to drop this tonight. And what am I going to drop? What am I going to talk about? We just came off of UFC 312, where we saw two UFC world champions retain their championship. So I'm going to push this button, everyone on the podcastville. I am pushing a button. This is called Champions Undervalued. Pretty cool artwork, by the way. There we go. I think, and I'm going to go down through a list, talk to a lot of people that are just fans of the UFC and mixed martial arts, fans, media, fighters. I love the betting side of stuff. I had one of my biggest UFC bets on Dricus Du Plessis this last weekend, so on and so off. We went back and forth with Tatiana Suarez or Wei Li on this show with multiple people, and we saw what happened in that. We undervalue champions, and I think I have multiple points and reasons why. So for one, there's three female champions. Let's kind of hit them off and we'll go into the male. We just saw the strawweight champion, Wei Li Zhang, who is one of the best female fighters ever, in that top 5, top 10 all time, right off the rip. And she has a couple big opportunities to go into that top 5, top 3, just an all-timer. Maybe the best strawweight of all time. Guys, she just fought Tatiana Suarez, who's never main evented a card. And Tatiana was the betting favorite. She was the betting favorite against Wei Li, who's now has 6 strawweight title defenses. How did we mess that up? I know, once in a while, the undefeated prospect comes through the ranks, and usually they get the job done. But looking back on it, and I know we can say hindsight's 2020. That was pretty bad by us. That was bad by me. I had Tatiana I thought she was going to win. I saw the avenue of Suarez winning that fight. So we undervalued Wei Li back then. We have undervalued her in her championship reign. And to be honest, I think we're going to undervalue her when she fights Valentina Shevchenko. Get into Valentina. I don't think Valentina is very underrated. I just think that we saw Grasso. I just think it's not in 2025 in the spring. We're in February. We're rolling into March. I don't think Valentina is the fighter she was 4 years ago. So I do think I don't think she's that peak Valentina. But again, we just saw her beat Grasso with grappling, and we would have never imagined that 4 years ago. And my point is, I don't think we give Valentina the credit where she, to me, has changed up her game. She used to just be this knockout kickboxing queen, Muay Thai queen. She is a overall mixed martial artist, and I think she reminds me a little bit of GSP right now. She will get the job done. I think we're underrated Valentina. Then, of course, there's one more champion, the bantamweight champion. Her name's Juliana Pena. She's not even the biggest name in her division. She's an aftermath. People think Kayla Harrison's going to walk right through her. I maybe don't disagree on that, and I probably will be wrong on it if I do it. I think Kayla Harrison will be a heavy betting favorite against Juliana Pena. But guys, again, Juliana Pena has beat Amanda Nunes. She is now a 2-time world champion, and we don't, we just don't care. Maybe it's because it's a personal thing. Maybe a lot of people don't like her. That's there, you know. But we undervalue Juliana Pena as a champion. All right, let's get into the guys. There's some that we don't, and some, of course, that we do. That's why it's called undervalued. Push the button again. But let's get into the flyweight. Alejandro Pantoja. To me, we don't underrate him. The one thing I will say is that we just don't give him the enough credit that he deserves. I don't think we value him as one of the best champions on the planet, one of the best fighters on the planet. And I think he is. You know, guys, his last fight was a guy against who never fought in the UFC. Like, what other division that we're just going to insert someone from another promotion right into a championship fight? It happens rarely, or if it happens ever, it happens in the flyweight division. And to me, we underrate other fighters in that division as a whole. Mighty Mouse's career has been undervalued, and I think now Pantoja's career has been undervalued. Maybe my biggest, I'm going to go by weights, and he might be my biggest argument. Merab Dvalishvili. And look it up, guys. Google it. We all have it. Merab's last 3 title defenses, or a title defense, a title win, and a number 1 contender. Merab's last 3 fights, when the fight opened, the betting odds open, he was an underdog in all 3. Merab Dvalishvili. The guy hasn't lost in a decade. All the guy does is win, cardio, gets the job done. I think he is one of the most unstoppable forces, maybe the greatest bantamweight fighter we have ever seen. Open against Cejudo as an underdog. He opened against Sugar Sean O'Malley as an underdog, and he opened against Umar Nurmagomedov. He closed just this past, 2 pay-per-views ago. He was the co-main event. He was a plus 200 betting underdog. Merab, he's our bantamweight champion. We undervalue him. He might be our biggest champion we undervalue. There's 1 or 2 more I want to throw on there. So that's Merab. The next 2 don't. We hold on high regards Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. We should. They might be pound for pound the best and second best fighter in the world. They might be the 2 best fighters in the world. We don't undervalue them. It is intriguing that Ilia seems dead set of moving up and fighting Islam right now and not cleaning out the featherweight division. I think he should fight Diego Lopez. I think he should fight Mosarv and kind of clean up that division and maybe do one of those rematches one more time and then move up. But if he wants to, he wants to. So there we go. Ilia and Islam, we don't. Welterweight division. Bully Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, you're thinking it. We underrate and undervalue Bilal Muhammad. Same thing. The guy hasn't lost in forever. He has a wonky eye poke, no contest with Leon Edwards 5 years ago in the COVID era. They fought again. Bully Bilal Muhammad dominated them, wrestled him, cardioed, paced him, just did whatever he wanted. He's our champion. Looks like him and Shavkat's next. I would assume that's going to headline that Montreal card coming up in 3-4 months. Guys, Shavkat is a over 200 betting favorite. So our champion, Bilal Muhammad, guy who hasn't lost in 8 years, is a plus 230, 240 underdog. There we go. That's undervalued. The middleweight division. Dricus du Plessis. To me, it was one of my biggest bets I made in UFC in quite a while. I don't know why you guys don't. I don't understand. He's 9-0 under the banner. And it's not even like it's a 9-0. And you can look, guys, in the strength of competition. This man has defeated Sean Strickland not once, but twice. He's submitted Israel Adesanya. He has stopped hot knife through butter Robert Whittaker, Derek Brunson, Darren Till. He has phenomenal wins. Like his high-end wins. And this is Izzy of 18 months ago. Sean Strickland, who beat Izzy, and his next fight was Dricus, and Dricus beat him. And the thing that gets me even higher on Dricus du Plessis is that he had a split decision against Sean Strickland in the first time. They fought again, and Dricus shut him out. I had a 50-45. If you wanted 49-46, I see it. It was a better performance. And I don't think Sean's getting worse. And I heard that a lot. I think Sean's getting crapped on way too much. Dricus is just getting better and better. And all week before last week, people were leaning Dricus. Some people thought Sean in the rematch. It was a coin toss. Dricus was at least the betting favorite, but we were undervaluing Dricus du Plessis. We still do. Guys, he is the betting underdog against Khamzat Chimaev. 9-0 in the UFC. He is our middleweight champion. Defeated Izzy, defeated Strickland, and now he's fighting Chimaev, who's next, and he's the betting underdog. There we go. Two more. In the light heavyweight division, Alex Pereira, who to me, he was the fighter of 2024. He went 3-0, 3 stoppages, 3 knockouts against 3 different fighters, 3 different number 1 contenders, 3 different, kind of like just 3 different types of fighters. Short notice, week's notice, different fighters. It didn't matter. That man fights anyone and stops everyone. And Alex Pereira, to me, is actually an underrated fighter right now. Again, he's fighting the Mega Man and Kalaev. That's next at UFC 313 in around 2 or 3 weeks. When that fight opened, he was a minus 200 betting, a plus 200 betting underdog. I love that it's getting close. The last thing I looked, it was around a pick'em. But how is this a pick'em? Alex Pereira has fought the who's. They have one guy that they fought in Jan, right? Alex beat him, and Kalaev was a majority draw against him. I just don't think we give Alex the credit. To me, he should be pound for pound 1 or 2 or 3. The man fights often. He stops his opponents often. He is the best thing we got going. And for me, he's not a big time betting favorite. He's not a Makhachev or a Bo Nickel type of betting favorite. Is wild. I know Ankalaev's really good. But until I see our champion lose, my money's on Alex Pereira. And lastly, John Jones, the heavyweight champion of the world. To me, inside or outside the cage, that's a whole nother story. But for me, inside that octagon, he is the greatest mixed martial artist I have ever seen. Has done it for god dog almost 20 years. The best fighter alive. It's so funny that he fought. So this GFLs came up and they got all these crazy names out there. I can't believe some of the matchups. John Jones beat all those guys in their prime or at the end of it. Beat them all. And then he went through a whole nother era of light heavyweights. A lot of younger guys that are on the way. Then moved up to heavyweight, defeated Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic, and now is fighting Tom Aspinall. And that goes back and forth. I saw the betting odds. The same thing. When it opened, when Las Vegas put that board on the market, Tom Aspinall was the betting favorite to defeat John Jones, our sit-in heavyweight champion, the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Have you ever saw that man lose inside the octagon? And don't tell me the Matt Hamill thing. He didn't lose. All right. He's definitely didn't lose that night and going forward. We've never seen him lose. Why are we betting against him? Why did we bet against Wei Lee? Why did we bet against Murad Davashvili? Why are we betting against Bilal Muhammad? Why are we so ready to tear down our champions? Look at these lists. And I put it up a picture, guys. We're on YouTube. Make sure you sub the channel. Dricus du Plessis, Murad Davashvili, Bilal, Alex. These are our champions. It's so wild that in the NFL, the Eagles win the Super Bowl and we are ready to crown them. Are they one of the greatest teams ever? Is that one of the best defenses we ever seen? In other sports, when teams win, the Boston Celtics won the championship last year. We're ready to give them a two-peat. We're already calling them a dynasty almost. But Murad can win for a decade straight, win the championship, and his first title defense, he is a betting underdog. I don't get it. We, as a community, we as MMA fans, we as UFC fans underrate and undervalue our UFC champions. All right, guys, I'm Dave Van Auken. Follow Fight Bananas. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.